Evening, everyone. Evening. Um, Welcome on, DVS, my man, absolute legend. Thanks for coming on, mate. Thank you. And Manny, thank you, man, for joining us.
Always. Thank
There
you.
may be one or two others joining, but we don't know work commitments, etc., etc. But we're going to talk about tomorrow night. Arsenal, Southampton. It's a must-win game. We've got to win that game. If we don't win that, it's done. It's simply done. And we'll talk about the ins and outs of it. I'll come to you first on this one, DVS. Infamous Dow, your various names, it always seem to confuse me.
It's all international espionage, Jez. I'm a secret CIA agent disguised as an Arsenal fan.
Yeah,
I've got to change my name.
I gathered that.
You honestly think he would say that on YouTube? I don't think so.
000.
Yeah. I'm going to stick tonight to DVS because that's how I first met you under the name of DVS.
Absolutely. My old gamer name. Yep.
We're at home tomorrow, mate. We have got Southampton currently sitting in 20th spot, looking absolutely bloody awful. And we've got to get this over the line, haven't we?
We do, Jez. We're at the tipping point now, and we have no one to blame but ourselves. I want to blame Arteta for his subs, which I have, but the performances just haven't been up to par the last couple of games. However, I think we're going to dig ourselves out of a hole tomorrow, Jez. I think we're going to do them. And I'm not predicting 4-0. I'll give that a little bit later. But we have to win this game. We've put the pressure on ourselves to absolutely, succumb to this pressure. Look at what we've put ourselves through all season, the highs and lows. And here we are again at a low. And it's on the team to bring themselves up. And again, I'm not going to put it on Arteta. He's going to tell them what to do on the whiteboard, and he's going to tell them where to be and what he thinks they should do. But it's up to them individually to perform and do their job, Jez. Do their job tomorrow. It's most critical, absolutely critical. We just can't make mistakes. Mistakes have been killing us. We can't 2-0 up, 4 points back. I mean, crap. This is a position we were hoping we weren't going to be in, right, Jez? I mean, 8 points, like Mandy said earlier, we bottled it. Could have gone 11 points up. We'd have a whole different conversation, but here we are, and the pressure's on.
Yeah. And I think, unfortunately, we have to blame ourselves. We've put ourselves in this position. Manny, you always give a straight level opinion. And we've done this to ourselves. We've done it so many times before. It is, mate, isn't it? That we have got to win this game. If we don't, I'm sorry, I think we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It's one of those games where we're expected to win, and we can't really give ourselves too much credit for performing well enough to win because of the expectation. And so I don't know exactly what you'd call it. It's sort of you really there's a name for it. I can't really think of it right now, but it's something that has to be done, and hopefully the boys will take it seriously. And you're absolutely spot on when you say that we've done this to ourselves, and it's happened twice. The best teams do not allow themselves to dissipate their advantages the way we have. And the fact that we've done it twice this season, as well as last season, it must be said, is something that we really, really, really need to look at. If we can't win and force the issue, the question has to be asked, are we legitimate title contenders? And the answer will have to be no. So all will depend on how Arteta motivates the boys. Simple as that.
Totally agree with that. Great. I mean, good comment here from Rahul. You guys are still in the driver's seat to win the title. It's up to the players now. Absolutely. Absolutely. They have really now got to turn it up because I think we'll win comfortably, personally, my view. And I'll come to you in a minute, DVS. Southampton, let's be honest, they're done. They're dusted. They're relegated. They are an absolute poor show. And but Arsenal can always be Santa Claus, can't we? At any time of year, we have this ability, basically, to say, yeah, okay, guys, we feel sorry for you. Here's a draw. We'll give you a point. We threw it away at Liverpool. We threw it away at West Ham. Now, we can't do this again if we are seriously going to go for this. Now, Arteta DVS, he's got to get it right. It is a must win for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask you this question. It's quite a serious question.
Sure.
Saka last week, in my opinion, was bloody awful. I'm not blaming him for the penalty because any player can miss a penalty.
Right.
Haaland did last night, ballooned it over the bar. Probably the best striker in world football, but he completely cocked that up. Would you rest Saka and bring in somebody else this weekend?
That's a good question. We've seen Trossard on the right, and I don't think we've been amused by what he does on the right side. I know he's more effective in the left and the middle. And Reece Nelson, I'm not sure if he's injured or not. I've heard rumors that he's injured or maybe sick, but he may be okay. Those are the only two I see coming in on the right side now that we've, pushed Pepe out into France. That's a hard one, Jez, because I want him to rest too. But the thing is I don't know if we have the quality on the right side to duplicate. You know what I mean? We don't have the players that on the right side that can do what he can do. Trossard's a little more direct, can pick a ball, pick a pass, but we're going to need Saka's energy. And, the last two games, right, he hasn't played well. I think I've given him a 4 at Liverpool and a 5 against who did we just draw against? Who did we just play before Liverpool? West Ham, thank you. I was going to say Villa. West Ham. I think I gave him a 4 or 5 against West Ham. But like Arsenal Forever is going to point, give him a start because you can always move players around, right? I mean, we could bring Saka in at halftime or take him off at halftime. That's going to be up to Arteta to, figure that out. But for me, I would want to rest him. But as you know, Jazz and Manny in the chat, to what detriment, right? I mean, if we rest him, are we completely impotent then on the right side? And then we just start overloading the left side. And then we get found out, we lose the ball, and we all know how that happens. Well, we all know what happens from there, right, with Rob Holding in the back. And it's no coincidence that we've, given up 4 goals in 2 games while he's been back there. Not to say that he's been completely awful, but there's, obviously statistics that coincide with him being on the pitch. That's a tough one. So I'm going to say no, Jez, just because I want to keep up the intensity. I mean, I would like to start in there, but I think he's going to start Saka, and I think we just need to go get him. We need to go get 3 or 4 goals, hopefully in the first half, and close the book. And without Saka, I think some of that just doesn't work as well.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Manny. I'm going to ask you what you think. Should we start without Saka in this game? Rest him up, have him on the bench, of course. I mean, we all know every player can have a bad day. And he certainly had a bad day against West Ham. So would you say against Southampton, it's an opportunity to test the thing out and actually say, right, let's just mix this up a little bit? I mean, what would you do?
I'm actually about to disagree with Dal right here and say, yes, he should be rested. I was on a stream earlier with another Arsenal YouTuber who's relatively new, but who is also trying his best. Shout out to AFC Talk Show TV, my good friend Mason Khan, aka MK the Don. And Dal knows him well. He's come on the channel more than a few occasions. And we had a sort of an impromptu stream where we were discussing the lineup, and I said, you know what? We might have to bite the bullet and say we need to rest Saka well for City. And we are going to have to play Trossard in his place. And I picked Trossard over Reece Nelson because Nelson, ever since that late show against Bournemouth, has looked exceptionally quiet. And it's frustrating because you end up having another Eddie Nketiah situation where he comes in, has his impact, has his exuberant celebration, and then you get crickets from him afterwards. And he's a footballer. He's not there. He's not supposed to have anything to do with cricket, but whatever. So I do take Dal's point when he says that when we play Trossard up front, we won't run the risk of potentially imbalancing the the right side, because Trossard's a little bit more direct and sort of likes to come in a little bit, and he's really more suited to playing as a false nine. Interchanging with Martinelli, or even coming on as a left winger with Martinelli rested and Jesus and Saka up front. But then here's the thing. When we signed him, we knew about his versatility. We knew that he'd be pretty good cover for any of our front three players, and he could play on either position. Now, whether he could do it effectively is another question altogether. But for this particular game against the Southampton team that looks so anatomically weak, who were still reliant on James Ward-Prowse's free kicks, and also for some occasional flashes of brilliance from Theo Walcott, our ex-gunner, which is sadly becoming few and far between. Do we really want to play Saka, start him, a guy who is mentally shot, having been overplayed for Arsenal and also for England, and then run the risk of having him not be in the right frame of mind for Manchester City? Nope. I would suggest that we, rest him, bring him on for maybe a run out in the second half, and then keep him fresh and mentally fit for the game against the Citizens. And I'm going to tell you one thing. If this particular team cannot be trusted to beat Southampton without Saka, then what sort of a team are we? Are we truly a title-winning team if our other players can't stand up to be counted? I mean, Reece Nelson came on when Saka got injured and scored those 2 goals against Nottingham Forest as well. And of course, as I said, he's done nothing since. And that's the reason why I'm not suggesting we bring Reece Nelson on. Trossard is a lot more experienced, a lot more capable. And Arteta's going to have to sort of work with that, formation. He is already going to have to deal with that Zinchenko for this game, because I do believe he has a thigh injury, and I don't think he will be fit by tomorrow. So if he does, he will start with Tierney, but I do hope, for the love of God, that he doesn't try to force that inverted nonsense on him. He can't do that. And then a lot will depend on Ben White and obviously Martin Odegaard to make sure that they stand up to be counted, because if they don't play with Saka and end up playing with Trossard on the right, then they're going to have to make sure their connections are completely spot on. But back to Saka, he looks mentally shot, and you want to keep him fresh. I take the point of several people, including Darren Sullivan, who say he's only playing 1 game a week. He's an exceptionally fit athlete. But you just never know in this day and age when many seemingly fit athletes can just, break down. We see so many fit athletes, supposedly fit, falling down and having heart attacks. Look what happened to Eriksen at Euro 2020. Do we really want to have any long-term risk of potentially damaging the boys' health, mentally and physically? It's Southampton. They're bottom of the league for a reason. They look doomed, and I definitely don't see them. I know historically teams in the relegation dogfight have thrown a spanner in the works of title-chasing teams. It's happened for so long, all the way back to the first Premiership season and even before that. But this Southampton team, aside from 1 or 2 players, do not offer very much. And this has to be a sort of a call for the other players in the team to stand up and be counted. Because what's the guarantee that Saka will continue to be playing for Arsenal if things don't go as he would like? He does have a release clause in his contract,
Great point, mate. Very great point. Very well said. Matthew, mate, you're always in the chat. Big up to you, my friend. He's basically saying, no, I'd go full strength. Get the match done early. Saka gets a goal. It makes him feel good. Yeah, I get that point. I get that. Personally, against Southampton, my opinion is this, that I would mix this up. I'd start with Trossard and stick him out on the right flank, and Tierney, not this inverted nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree, Manny, what you just said there. It's not his way of playing. He's far better whipping down that left wing, supporting Martinelli, feeding crosses in. I mean, let's get it right. Tierney's one of the only people in the team who can actually cross a ball into that 18-yard box. There's not many other players that are good at it. When they're in there, right, there's certain players that can make a sneaky little pass. But when you've got to cross a ball onto a player, head, foot, there's not many we got that are that absolute class. So I'm personally thinking tomorrow against them to start Trossard. Chrissy says, fucking ridiculous that we are fucking thrown away a 2-goal lead, 2 games running. What kind of thing is that? Effing annoying and upsetting. We are going for a title. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with it. But we're going to come on to another player. Just go through some of these comments. Rahul says, everybody's saying Saka needs to be rested. Your fan base was gung-ho after the losses in the FA Cup and Europa League, saying the focus is on the Premier League. What rest when you are playing 1 game a week? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I kind of disagree with you and Manny a bit. I think maybe why not start Saka, blitz him in the first half, and then pull him off at halftime. I think either way, he has to get some time on the pitch tomorrow because he is one of our impact players. I know it hasn't worked out for him the last couple of days. Like Matthew DeSouza said in another chat, hey, a couple games and you're deeming the kid mentally shot. Well, I think there's maybe some other factors to that, but we can either blitz him with Saka in the first half and then pull him, or go with Trossard. Either way. In fact, he could do something really crazy and put Jesus on the right wing, Martinelli up front, and Trossard on the left.
Yeah.
He really wanted to be the Tinker Man, right? I mean, I know that's a bit out there, but Arteta is, he's not much of the Tinker Man as Ranieri, but close enough in some cases.
Yeah, it's a good point, mate. I just think that there's times when Arteta shows his naivety and that he just doesn't mix it up. I mean, I actually said back in, I think, February, when let's talk about the Aston Villa game, Bournemouth game, where February, March, he came out of a plan B, and the team was so up for it that we've got away and we won the games when we weren't looking absolutely particularly great. But we'll move on because I mean, I personally would start Trossard. I'd have Saka on the bench. He can come on, as you rightly say, an impact player. But I'd start this game in a totally different way. And I think if you are a top level manager, then you have that ability to do it. Right. Pep does it, and it'll all come down to tomorrow and Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
These are the 2 crucial games.
These are the 2 games, and we wouldn't be in this position, guys, if it wasn't for the last 2 games, right? We would have.
I see a lot of chat saying, "Well, if we win tomorrow, we're 8 points clear." Yeah, that's great. But Man City have got 2 games in hand,
right?
So
6 points, but I mean, it's essentially a 2-point lead. And I still think, I don't think City's going to lose anything, but I still think there's still 21 points to play for. They have 24. There's a draw in there somewhere. There's going to be a draw in there somewhere.
Yeah,
I personally think that, and I know a lot of people are saying no, they're going to win out and they're going to win every game. But I personally think in those 24 points, there's a draw in there. I really do.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not sure. Man City.
Yeah. And if I may say so, I actually want to sort of get back to look. Once again, we have so many people in the chat saying, "Look, it's only one game a week, 2 games," and you're saying he's mentally shot. They're sort of trying to, in a way, come at me for expressing my opinion. Listen, it's not just those 2 games. There have been several games since the World Cup when Saka has literally has not been able to put in the performances that we expect of him or to which we're accustomed from him. There have been games when he has been playing well, but in several games you could also see that he's looked off the pace. And I take everyone's point that yes, we're playing 1 game a week, but you have to consider the cumulative effects of having to play in the Premiership, play in Europe, also play in England in the World Cup for England, and also several other internationals because Southgate never drops him; he always picks him. So that does take its toll on a player, and we can't just ignore that. And that's the reason why both Jez and I are saying that we should try and mix it up and have Trossard coming in and starting. And listen, if the likes of Trossard and Martinelli and Jesus together in that front 3 can't be trusted to get behind that weak Southampton defence and pop a few past them, then that just sums it up, really. And for people who say that, if Saka gets a goal, he gets his confidence back, that might be the thing. But hypothetically, we could start him on Friday. He could fizzle out and not really put in the performance he needs, get hauled off. And then how does that affect his confidence going forward? We sometimes have to think practically and sort of put the player first and trust in our squad. Now, I do realise that we should have had a much better squad when it comes to a title challenge, and we should have done more in the transfer market to get some better quality players. Not that Trossard isn't quality. I mean, he is, but obviously he's no... the other option was Bukayo Saka, but he does have a few limitations. But we should have done a lot better in January, but also in the previous summer. But then, for what it's worth, we have to trust our squad now. Just as we've got Holding in the back 4 with Saliba's injury, we've got to put our trust in him. He hasn't done too much wrong, but his mistakes have been highlighted. In the same way, we've also got to trust that our other players can stand up to be counted. We can't keep depending on Saka to keep bailing us out all the time. It's about player management more than anything else. And I really want to clarify that before we move forward. I'm sorry for talking too long, sir.
No, I don't agree. That's a great point, mate. Terry says, forget about Saka in or out. Our main concern is Arteta's perseverance with this inverted fullback. Totally agree. Kieran Tierney playing as out-and-out fullback gives us a better chance of winning any game. Absolute fact, Terry. I totally agree with you, mate. Chrissy says, was hoping that Saliba would be back for the City game. Doesn't look like it. Holding is most probably going to cost us that game. If we play him, would play with Kiwa or Ben White there instead? I wouldn't have Ben White there, mate. We'll see what Ben White's like at centre back. He's bloody awful. Which brings me on, guys. Excuse me. Saliba isn't going to be back for Man City. Reports yesterday he's back in training were fake. He's basically just doing cycle work. I don't personally think we're going to see him back before the end of the season. And I certainly wouldn't force him back into the team because that would be an absolute big mistake. Because if we forced him back in, giving him back injections, etc., then he could end up with a serious injury, which he needs surgery, operation. That is not good. So I'm not seeing that. If he is not fit, then he's not fit. You just don't race a racehorse with a damaged leg, do you? And leave him out. Darren says Arteta is under pressure now. This season, sadly, he has more credit in the bank for the so-called progressive season, not in Darren's book. Fair play, man. Matthew says 7 points clear if we win. Right, but Man City have 2 games in hand, and we have then got to go and win all our games. Fact. That is the facts, mate. Anyway, DVS.
Yes, sir.
Mama Flossie, evening to you. William Saliba. I don't think it's worth risking him against.
It's not. It's not. How old's Saliba? 22, 23 years old. This, I don't know the specifics of, let's say, muscles in the back. We all know the back is important. It's important function of our body, but there's a lot of muscles there, and I think just, we all feel it as we get older, right, Jez? You bend down to pick something up, and your back tweaks a little bit. I don't want to do that again. Now let's go run out on a football pitch for 90 minutes. No way. No way. That would be an injustice to him as a player, as a young player, an up-and-coming player. And I couldn't imagine the fallout if he actually got hurt for years on end, right? I mean, that's what we really have to look at. It's bigger than football. We're talking about the man's personal injury. It's bigger than football, guys. We want him back. We want him for City. We want him tomorrow. We want him back. But I agree with you, Jez. I think he's probably done for the season. Maybe he'll make the last couple games of the season, but I'm not banking on that. I'm really not. And I think it would be kind of shameful for us to force him in. You can do more damage than good, man,
I don't agree. I don't agree with playing a player at all costs when a player...
Right. I don't agree with that either. Especially a younger player. For 28, 29-year-old player, experienced guy, let's say Jorginho or Xhaka says, hey, boss, I feel like I could go out there, that's one thing. But that's a different mentality than a 22 or 23-year-old. You know what I mean? I don't know how much credence you want to give that thought either. But, if you're not 100%, you shouldn't be out there. That's my point. No matter the age.
The thing is that if Arteta was to force him out, that would be going against all the physios, club doctor, specialists, because I've had back injuries, not serious, but I know what it's like, and I'm not, an athlete to the levels of these fellas, but I know the agony, and these guys give 100% in their performances, and if you've got an issue with your back, your spine, muscles, and you do some serious damage, mate, that's you done for life.
Right.
Not many people come back from serious back injuries to be the level of athlete that you once were before. So, no, not for me.
It's a lot different than just a calf strain, isn't it?
Yeah. That's your back. That is the main core of your body. And if you do some serious damage to that, mate, look, I mean, I know it wasn't his back, but look what happened to Santi Cazorla. Ended his career. That ankle injury, he had surgery on that 3 times, finished his career at Arsenal.
Yeah. It looks disgusting. I've seen I don't know if you've seen the photos of Cazorla's leg after his Achilles surgery, but he's got, skin and muscle all spent around with scars. I mean, it's a horrible looking injury, a lot different than the back, obviously, but yeah, it's bigger than football. I mean, what would happen if the kid really, really, really gets hurt, right? Then then we have a much bigger issue than what we've got now than just resting the guy for a few games.
Absolutely, totally agree. Manny, I mean, I personally, you've heard what we've said. I personally would not rush him back in for that Man City game. I just don't see it. He's not going to be fit. He's apparently doing what I've seen reports. He's doing bicycle fitness. That is not, in my book, getting fully fit. I don't agree with players having these steroid injections, etc., because I just think it's not, personally, to me, it's not right. Give me your opinion, mate.
Short-term gain, long-term pain. And that's all that needs to be said.
Fact. Absolute facts. I wish I'd have thought of that myself, because that sums it up, basically. Anyway, it's not been a great long show tonight, because I've got to go on another channel in a little bit. And then I'm on with TJ on the American Idiot Show with DVS. So before we round this round up, I'm going to give you my prediction. I'm going to give you my prediction. I'm going to hope that Mikel Arteta starts with Trossard on the right, Jesus, Martinelli, Tierney in left back. We know the defence. I mean, I want to see Tierney. But I will make a major change in that midfield. I would put Zinchenko in there to start the game for Xhaka. Okay. I'd drop Xhaka off. Nothing against him. I just think put Zinchenko in there because he has the ability to cause disruption. He's very clever on the ball. And I think that would be a completely confusing thing for Southampton, because one of the issues I think that's happened this season lately is Arteta's got too obvious. And we've talked about this in previous shows. We've got a lack of depth of what we can do, who we can bring on, of quality. So there, I'm just throwing this one out there, guys. People in the chat, give me your opinion. I'm going to start Trossard, Jesus middle, Martinelli, Tierney left back, Zinchenko in at inverted midfielder, if you want to call it that term, for Xhaka. And we're going to have Ben White. We're going to have Rob Holding, Gabriel. That's cool. I haven't got a problem with that against Southampton. And DVS, give me your view, mate. Tell me anything changed.
That all sounds good to me, Jez, but I'm not sure if Zinchenko is going to be playing because I've heard he's injured, unless there's recent news that he will be.
Brian, and he's back in training, apparently.
Okay. Well, with that said, I would put him on the bench, and I would switch up the formation. I would go 4-2-3-1, abandon the 4-3-3, and I would put Jorginho and Partey in the front four and just hold down the front four. You can always bring Xhaka on. You can always bring, like you said, Zinchenko on for Partey or Xhaka. But I would start Jorginho and Partey in a 4-2-3-1. And hell, I'll go with you guys are my boys. I'll put Trossard on the right. Why not? Odie in the middle, Martinelli on the left, and Jesus up front in a 4-2-3-1. Change it up a bit. Yeah, I think we can do them. I think we can do them 3-1 is my prediction. I still think we got mistakes in us. A set piece, Rob Holding equals a goal. So,
yeah. Well, yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't actually give you my prediction. I do apologize. Okay. I'm going 5-0.
Ooh.
I'm going 5-0.
I'm going 3-1, Jez. I just don't think we have the jitters out from us just yet.
Fair play. I respect that. Manny, obviously you see in the comments that you are the man of facts, and I totally agree with that. No bullshit comes out of you, my friend. Mate, give me any changes you'd think you'd like to make, and give me your prediction for the result of the game.
Yeah, personally, I do like the idea of, what Dal was mentioning about going for the 4-2-3-1 and abandoning the 4-3-3. But the only question is, by having Partey and Zinchenko there at the same time, I'm just wary about the risk of any possible imbalance without Xhaka being in that position in front of the back four. And then do you drop Odegaard and bring Xhaka into the in there, and then where would you play Zinchenko? I'm sort of operating under the assumption that Zinchenko will not be fit, so the back four will of course be White, Gabriel, Holding, Gabriel, and Tierney, and then if Odegaard has to play, then he is going to have to play that number 10 role in between Martinelli and Trossard, of course Jesus up front. So yeah, I wouldn't start with Partey and Jorginho. Partey definitely starts. It would either be between Xhaka or Zinchenko for that other defensive midfield spot in front of the back four. If not Xhaka, then definitely Zinchenko. I think Zinchenko might end up being out today, so Xhaka earns another start, and that actually should give Tierney a lot more freedom to bomb down the left and give Martinelli the support he needs. Ben White can also start overlapping, and Trossard can feed off him if necessary, and Odegaard can still try and do his thing. I have no idea why we abandoned the 4-2-3-1. I think it was because of Jesus' injury, and then when Nketiah came in, we had to tweak it to a 4-3-3 because he couldn't lead the line. And of course, with Jesus just coming back, we couldn't expect him to, again, lead the line immediately. But I like the idea of a 4-2-3-1. It's worked at the beginning of the season. We played some really good football then. Maybe this should be a signal of intent that we go back to that formation.
Yeah, I'd go with that one. I can't deny. I would go with that. I just got Sir. Where's he gone? Up here. Craig, everyone. I'm a bit late. Any chance for recap, mate? All we've been talking about is the game tomorrow night. We've been talking about our predictions and any mix-ups, any changes. Talked about Saka, mate, and obviously Saliba, his current injury. Manny, you didn't give me your score, mate. What's your score?
Oh, the score. I'm going to have to piggyback off Dal and go for a 3-1. I think we will sadly end up conceding due to a defensive error, but we will score enough goals to put it beyond doubt. 3-1.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. I'll go on to this comment here. My old mate Hendon. Jez, you've jinxed it now with that 5-0. Mate, we've got to beat somebody 5-0.
It's got to happen.
We haven't done it for 6 years. 5-0. We've had 5-1s and all that. We've got to do it, man. We've got to go for it. This is our year.
Well, Jez, part of my hesitation for a score like that was everyone's West Ham scores. When everyone was saying 3-0, 4-0. I think there was a 6-0 in there, and I said 2-1. So I still think we've got the jitters, man. I really do. I just don't. I think it gets out, right? I think we'll perform better at Southampton, but I still think we're, like Manny said, we're culpable for defensive mistakes. And, 3-1, 3-2, it's possible. I mean, I know we're at home too, but I just don't think we have all the jitters out yet, mate.
This is Southampton. They are bottom of the league.
They are.
I know they're going to come and park the bus.
They are.
I think with Arteta will have them fired up for this. Seriously.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think, when you look at, I think Che Adams could start for them. Che Adams can roast Holding any day of the week.
I get it. But, I'm sorry. It's come to the time of the season now where we can't afford to muck about.
Right.
We can't rely on Manchester City cocking up.
Exactly.
We've got to put the pressure on them and say, right, if you're in for the fight, then we're here to fight you. And we've been top all season, Manchester City.
Mm-hmm.
You come and take us down. If you've got winning mentality, that's what you do. You just say, okay, mate, bring it on, and we'll fight you every foot of the way. That is winning mentality.
Right.
And
I'm on board with that 100%. I'm on board with you on that 100%.
My only question to that is, my only criticism is when Mikel Arteta made the statement in the Amazon. I talked about this last night. He's fixed the mentality of Arsenal, yeah? But then his after-match press conference against West Ham stating, they're mentally weak. So where do you go with that one then? Where'd you go? Where's the belief? But it is what it is. Carl, thank you, mate, for your super chat. Great stream as per usual. Jez, DVS, and Manny. Yeah, I mean, in the day, mate, Carl, I only have real ones on here. That is people that actually know what they're talking about and that. And I'm just going to say, last night's show was absolutely amazing. It was incredible. The views, the comments. I gained 26 substitutions, subscribers from that one show in less than 24 hours. That is massive on a small channel like mine. So I can only say thank you for everyone for doing that. And the it was an amazing show, And I'm going to wrap this up and we're going to do a quick round robin before we go. Thank you everybody in the chat for being here. And I've got to go on another show briefly. Then I've got to join DVS and TJ. So it's a busy night for me. And I've got a busy day tomorrow. I've got to go with the wife to pick up her new car. So that's going to be stressful because she's panicking about driving her new car. What can you say? What can you say? But there we go. And people come into the chat. Jimino, light bulbs hanging on for dear life against City. Well, there you go, man. There you go. Arujo, great shirt. Love that. Jez, you're a legend. I'm old. That's why I'm a legend. I'm old. Been around a long time, mate. CMO, see you on TJ and Dal's stream, Jez. Yeah, I'll be there, mate. I'll be there. I talk my usual crap, but there we go. Anthony Herbert, 26 substitutions. Sounds like Forest, Jez. Yes. No, sorry. I get what you're saying now. I get what you're saying. Sorry. Brain's got a bit dead. DVS, before we go, mate.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming on. Thank on.
You.
Are we going to win the Premier League?
You put me on the spot in front of all our friends.
Yeah, that's what we got to do.
Yes, we're going to pull it out by 1 or 2 points. City are going to drop points. There's 21 points to play for us. There's 24 for them. There has to be they have to draw a game. They're going to draw a game. They're not going to lose, but they're going to draw a game, and that 2 points is going to be the difference for us.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'm going with it.
I'm hoping. I'm praying to the football gods. If we would have beat Liverpool, I would have said. If we would have beat Liverpool, I would have said 100% yes. If we would have beat Liverpool.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Manny, I'll ask you the same question, mate. Are we going to win this Premier League?
It will be tight. It will be ugly. But there is a part of me that hopes and believes that we might just pull it off. Because for all of the vaunted praise of City's squad, there is going to be a draw in them. And if you didn't see the Champions League last night, you'll know that Nathan Ake went off with a bit of an injury. That's their defence slightly compromised. We get in behind their defence, we do have a chance of scoring a few goals. And other teams have also taken points off them. Brentford and Brighton, we can certainly hope. But the most important thing is we have to control what we can control. A lot will hinge on tomorrow's result. I'm hopeful we will do it. Still keeping my fingers crossed and my cards close to my chest.
Okay, fair play, respect to that. I'm going to say yes. And I'll tell you, I'll explain why. Because I've been there, seen this, done it before. And when you're in a tight spot, if you've got the right frame of mind, and that's the key.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doubting the players. I'm not doubting their technicality or anything. It's up here now. It's how Arteta programs them or gets them believing they can do it. But I think we've had a little bit of a scare. Liverpool away, not quite right. And then West Ham, I think we went there 2-0 up, thought we were cruising it, and basically they came on us. Poor game tactics, poor substitutions. I hope Mikel learns from that and thinks, okay, tomorrow night, Southampton home, let's not look at this as an easy game because they're going to come there and look to get 3 points because they're an animal fighting for survival. And we know how difficult that can be. It's we've seen it before, so they're going to be up for it, and they're going to come here, park the bus, try and get us on the counter. And the other important facts, DVS Manny, we cannot afford any injuries or nonsense tomorrow night. We can't. That is why I would say start if he's fit, which reportedly may be Zinchenko. I'd start him, play him for 50 minutes maybe, then bring on Xhaka, mix it up, and we'll see how we get on from there. Anyway, guys, everybody, thank you for watching. I'm going to be jumping on very shortly on with TJ and DVS. Go over there, show them the love, the American Idiot Show. I don't know why you call yourselves that, but there you go.
It's from a album record, and I think TJ was just thinking of names because we're not the experts as you guys are over the pond. I think is the meaning of all that. So.
I think that's disrespectful to yourselves, but there you go. But anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up. And next week, I will probably bring back the intro after YouTube did their usual madness that they like to give you grief. So, speak to you all soon. I'll be doing a match review show on Saturday, Saturday somewhere. I'll put it out there. Anybody wants to jump on, that'd be great. I'd actually like to do a call-in show. I've never done a call-in show. Never done one of them. That'd be fun. Get other people's opinions. And the only risk.
Be forewarned, sir. Like if you've seen Del Boy's shows, they do tend to get a little bit rowdy sometimes, and you are going to have to be a little bit selective with the guests who come on your show.
Oh yeah. I get that, man. I get that. That's where you need a couple of people on who are referees to actually see what's going down. I'll have a look at it. And I'll take it from there. But
not to look for a job, sir. But if you want a referee, I know how to put everyone in order. I've done that several times on a few other channels. A lot of young people who come on trying to talk out of turn, I say, son, you're speaking out of turn. It's someone else. Someone else gets to speak. Pipe down a minute. That's what you need to do.
Well, mate, I'll call on you. I'll get you in. If I do that, I'll give you a shout.
Stripes on Manny. Get the stripes on Manny.
You can have the red card and the whistle. That's cool with me. I haven't got a problem with it. Because it is difficult sometimes hosting when you've got Jack talking to people and you're trying to do. I'm a bloke. I'm not a multitasker. Let's be honest. So it is what it is. But say goodnight. Mama Flossie, thanks for coming in, mate. You're always welcome. You're always lovely here. And TJ Warren is saying the Strasbourg Steve Award. Not sure what that's about, but there we go. Gavin says that's too polite, Manny. Tell the see you next Tuesdays to shut the F up. Yep, that's what we do. Straight red, no yellow. Yeah, classic. I'm really trying to get through this before we wrap this up. Jiminho says TJ1 TV. I don't think I've got a note, so it wasn't that bad. Seriously, he's beating Liverpool. Did I spend the previous night bashing my head off a brick wall or something? And as Darren says, quoting Warren's team talks, your book, son. Go and show. I'm just going to say, everybody, please go and show Warren Bartholomew Warren's TV. Go and show him some love, man. Please do that because he's having a bit of a tough time right now. He's a lovely fella. I was chatting to him earlier. Go and support him and give him some love on his channel. He's not in a great place. But anyway, guys, we're going to bail. Got to get on TJ's, and I need to have a glass of wine. My throat's drying up. But thanks all for watching. Thanks for subbing. Thanks for liking. It's been great fun. And thank you, DVS. Thank you, Manny. DVS, before we go, shout yourself out, man.
Catch me on YouTube at Oregon Goon. Come and say hello. You can also check me out on Twitter, Oregon Goon HD. And let's get ready for the American Idiot Show, episode 7, in about 10 minutes.
You will.
And I'll take
Manny,
Fabregas over De Bruyne. Sorry, Fabregas over De Bruyne. De Bruyne's never scored against Barcelona in a Champions League semifinal.
Manny, where can we find you, my friend?
Yeah, if you want to catch me on social media, I'm on Instagram at Manny Thangatherai 1981, which is my full name and my year of birth. If you want to find me on Twitter, as Mr. Jez has said, it is Thangatherai 1981. And you can catch me on several channels on YouTube, which I don't have the time to name, but I do enjoy having some proper football debates. I always say that the definition of a gentleman or a gentle person, for being gender neutral, is that you've got to be willing to disagree without being disagreeable. And if we can't agree to disagree, there's no point in having a discussion. So let's treat each other with a bit of respect. Thanks once again to Jez, and big up to everyone in the chat for posting your comments. You're the ones who make this video and Jez's channel what it is. I hope you enjoy the match tomorrow and enjoy the weekend, and don't do anything the three of us wouldn't do. For now, though, everyone's out, and so am I.
Take care, people. Go and show these people some love, please. And we'll see you in a few minutes on TJ's. And DVS's. Take care. Enjoy the game tomorrow. I will speak at the weekend. Take care.